but when they are alone, they bite their fingertips at you in rage. Say, die in your rage. Indeed, Allah is knowing of that within the breasts. If good touches you, it distresses them, but if harm strikes you, they rejoice at it. And if you are patient and fear Allah, their plot will not harm you at all. Indeed, Allah is encompassing of what they do. And remember when you, O Muhammad, left your family in the morning to post the believers at their station for the battle of Uhud, and Allah is hearing and knowing. When two parties among you were about to lose courage, but Allah was their ally, and upon Allah the believers should rely. And already had Allah given you victory at the battle of Badr, while you were few in number. Then fear Allah, perhaps you will be grateful. Remember when you said to the believers, "Is it not sufficient for you that your Lord should reinforce you with 3,000 angels sent down?" Yes, if you remain patient and conscious of Allah, and the enemy come upon you attacking in rage, your Lord will reinforce you with 5,000 angels having marks of distinction. And Allah made it not except as a sign of good tidings for you, and to reassure your hearts thereby. And victory is not except from Allah, the exalted in might, the wise, that He might cut down a section of the disbelievers or suppress them so that they turn back disappointed. Not for you, O Muhammad, but for Allah is the decision whether He should cut them down or forgive them or punish them, for indeed they are wrongdoers. And to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. He forgives whom He wills and punishes whom He wills, and Allah is forgiving and merciful. O you who have believed, do not consume usury, doubled and multiplied, but fear Allah that you may be successful. And fear the fire which has been prepared for the disbelievers. And obey Allah and the Messenger that you may obtain mercy. And hasten to forgiveness from your Lord, and a garden as wide as the heavens and earth, prepared for the righteous, who spend in the cause of Allah during ease and hardship, and who restrain anger and who pardon the people, and Allah loves the doers of good. And those who, when they commit an immorality or wrong themselves by transgression, remember Allah and seek forgiveness for their sins, and who can forgive sins except Allah, and who do not persist in what they have done while they know. Those, their reward is forgiveness from their Lord, and gardens beneath which rivers flow in paradise, wherein they will abide eternally, and excellent is the reward of the righteous workers. Similar situations as yours have passed on before you, so proceed throughout the earth and observe how was the end of those who denied. This Quran is a clear statement to all the people and a guidance and instruction for those conscious of Allah. So do not weaken and do not grieve, and you will be superior if you are true believers. If a wound should touch you, there has already touched the opposing people a wound similar to it. And these days of varying conditions we alternate among the people, so that Allah may make evident those who believe, and may take to Himself from among you martyrs, and Allah does not like the wrongdoers. And that Allah may purify the believers through trials and destroy the disbelievers. Or do you think that you will enter paradise while Allah has not yet made evident those of you who fight in His cause and made evident those who are steadfast? And you had certainly wished for martyrdom before you encountered it, and you have now seen it before you while you were looking on. Muhammad is not but a messenger. Other messengers have passed on before him, so if he was to die or be killed, would you turn back your heels to disbelief? And he who turns back on his heels will never harm Allah at all. but Allah will reward the grateful. And it is not possible for one to die except by permission of Allah at a decree determined. And whoever desires the reward of this world, we will give him thereof, and whoever desires the reward of the hereafter, we will give him thereof, and we will reward the grateful. And how many a prophet fought, and with him fought many religious scholars, but they never lost assurance due to what afflicted them in the cause of Allah, nor did they weaken or submit, and Allah loves the steadfast. And their words were not but that they said, Our Lord, forgive us our sins and the excess committed in our affairs, and plant firmly our feet and give us victory over the disbelieving people. So Allah gave them the reward of this world and the good reward of the hereafter, and Allah loves the doers of good. O you who have believed, if you obey those who disbelieve, they will turn you back on your heels, and you will then become losers. But Allah is your protector, and He is the best of helpers. We will cast terror into the hearts of those who disbelieve for what they have associated with Allah, of which He had not sent down any authority, and their refuge will be the fire, and wretched is the residence of the wrongdoers. And Allah had certainly fulfilled His promise to you when you were killing the enemy by His permission, until the time when you lost courage and fell to disputing about the order given by the Prophet, and disobeyed after he had shown you that which you love. Among you are some who desire this world, and among you are some who desire the hereafter. Then He turned you back from them defeated, that He might test you, and He has already forgiven you, and Allah is the possessor of bounty for the believers. Remember when you fled and climbed the mountain without looking aside at anyone while the messenger was calling you from behind? So Allah repaid you with distress upon distress, so you would not grieve for that which had escaped you of victory and the spoils of war, or for that which had befallen you of injury and death. And Allah is fully acquainted with what you do. Then after distress, He sent down upon you security in the form of drowsiness, overcoming a faction of you, while another faction worried about themselves, thinking of Allah other than the truth, the thought of ignorance, saying, Is there anything for us to have done in this matter? Say, Indeed, the matter belongs completely to Allah. They conceal within themselves what they will not reveal to you. They say, If there was anything we could have done in the matter, some of us would not have been killed right here. Say, even if you had been inside your houses, those decreed to be killed would have come out to their deathbeds. It was so that Allah might test what is in your breasts and purify what is in your hearts, and Allah is knowing of that within the breasts. Indeed, those of you who turned back on the day the two enemies met, it was Satan who caused them to slip because of some blame they had earned. But Allah has already forgiven them. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and forbearing. O you who have believed, do not be like those who disbelieved and said about their brothers when they traveled through the land or went out to fight, If they had been with us, they would not have died or have been killed. So Allah makes that misconception a regret within their hearts. And it is Allah who gives life and causes death, and Allah is seeing of what you do. And if you are killed in the cause of Allah or die, then forgiveness from Allah and mercy are better than whatever they accumulate in this world. And whether you die or are killed, unto Allah you will be gathered. So by mercy from Allah, O Muhammad, you were lenient with them. And if you had been rude in speech and harsh in heart, they would have disbanded from about you. So pardon them and ask forgiveness for them and consult them in the matter. And when you have decided, then rely upon Allah. Indeed, Allah loves those who rely upon Him. If Allah should aid you, no one can overcome you. But if he should forsake you, who is there that can aid you after him? And upon Allah let the believers rely. It is not attributable to any prophet that he would act unfaithfully in regard to war booty. And whoever betrays, taking unlawfully, will come with what he took on the day of resurrection. Then will every soul be fully compensated for what it earned, and they will not be wronged. So is one who pursues the pleasure of Allah like one who brings upon himself the anger of Allah and whose refuge is hell? And wretched is the destination. They are varying degrees in the sight of Allah, and Allah is seeing of whatever they do. Certainly did Allah confer great favor upon the believers when He sent among them a messenger from themselves, reciting to them His verses, and purifying them and teaching them the book and wisdom, although they had been before in manifest error. Why is it that when a single disaster struck you on the day of Uhud, although you had struck the enemy in the battle of Badr with one twice as great, you said, "From where is this?" Say, "It is from yourselves." Indeed, Allah is over all things competent. And what struck you on the day the two armies met was by permission of Allah, that He might make evident the true believers, and that He might make evident those who are hypocrites. For it was said to them, "Come, fight in the way of Allah, or at least defend." They said, "If we had known there would be fighting, we would have followed you." They were nearer to disbelief that day than to faith, saying with their mouths what was not in their hearts. And Allah is most knowing of what they conceal. Those who said about their brothers while sitting at home, "If they had obeyed us, they would not have been killed," say, "Then prevent death from yourselves, if you should be truthful. And never think of those who have been killed in the cause of Allah as dead. Rather, they are alive with their Lord, receiving provision, rejoicing in what Allah has bestowed upon them of His bounty, and they receive good tidings about those to be martyred after them who have not yet joined them, that there will be no fear concerning them, nor will they grieve. They receive good tidings of favor from Allah and bounty, and of the fact that Allah does not allow the reward of believers to be lost. Those believers who responded to Allah and the Messenger after injury had struck them. For those who did good among them and feared Allah is a great reward. Those to whom hypocrites said, "Indeed, the people have gathered against you, so fear them." But it merely increased them in faith, and they said, "Sufficient for us is Allah, and He is the best disposer of affairs." So they returned with favor from Allah and bounty, no harm having touched them. And they pursued the pleasure of Allah, and Allah is the possessor of great bounty. That is only Satan who frightens you of his supporters. So fear them not, but fear me if you are indeed believers. And do not be grieved, O Muhammad, by those who hasten into this belief. Indeed, they will never harm Allah at all. Allah intends that He should give them no share in the hereafter, and for them is a great punishment. Indeed, those who purchase disbelief in exchange for faith, never will they harm Allah at all, and for them is a painful